Hello, my beautiful lovelies. Welcome back to my channel. This is Chai Leaves Tarot, where we get to your greatness one tea leaf at a time. And this is a special download about what's going on in the world. What do you need to know to be ahead of the curve? And like, how should you follow your gut? This is all signs. Take what resonates, leave behind what doesn't. And if you're new here, smash that like button, follow for more, and let's just jump right in. All right, so this is a timeless reading, all signs. Let's get into it. Wow, there is a lot of interesting, I wouldn't say chaos because he's happy. It's like a festivity. Something is about to change in a good way. People are awakened to what the money is behind the scenes. People are like, peekaboo, can't like hide that lobbyists run things, or money is coming in from different countries, foreign assets, whatever is happening. Five of Coins is showing there is a change coming in, and the change has to do with how money is given, how money is received, because there is a shift. The powers that be, the people who are running things, whatever it is, whether it's the technocracy or whoever is being blackmailed or whatever, like whoever is pulling the strings of all of that stuff, or paying politicians, especially if you're in the US, people are looking at everything sideways. And the veneer of what's going on in the world is like, people could see past that. It's no longer zen, it's chaotic, it's ready for a new frontier. Basically, the people are losing their power, the people are gaining their power, the people pulling the strings are losing their power. They're trying to juggle all of their lies, and they're like, bro, there is a genocide, there's this, we don't want wars, XYZ. And they're holding on, they're really holding on. They got the venture capitalists, they got the tech monarchs, they got all of these things going on. The food is poisoned, they have access to what our water is, our food, whatever. Farming is regenerative or not, it's poison. And it's funny because look at this, the King of Swords, somebody new is about to rise, okay? And this doesn't have to mean like someone's literally rising up to go against people. This is not like a coup. This is not a change of regime. Nobody wants like regime change wars, for example, and none of that. The people are rising up, and there is a King of Swords, someone who is phenomenal actually with speaking. They're eloquent, they know how to tell you, they know how to like put and bottle into words what the people are thinking, right? Like the average man, the average woman in this world is really thinking, with all the poverty, the like violence, everybody's so over it, right? And so what's happening is this king who has like the people behind him, right? I'm saying him because right now we got the King of Swords, but I'm sure a queen is also going to rise. But if not, there's queens and kings behind them who are like, yo, I see what you're doing, you're phenomenal. No, it could be someone young, it could be someone who is a Virgo. It's just look up for people who are Virgos. Maybe something like that is about to rise, like a real order in the kind of like in the dynasty, or right before Virgos, right? So an August baby, King of Swords, right? So this person just is business minded. They're methodical. They say things that maybe aren't right all the time, but they have this sense of like diplomacy, and they also say the un-PC things, right? So they're not right about everything, but they are honest, they're authentic. And what's happening is the Two of Staves. Look at this. It's like an wise man, a wise woman are rising to the top no matter what is happening. Maybe those are like, maybe they're congressmen, maybe it's like the only two people who don't want to fund genocides and wars, maybe it's a speaker, maybe it's like um non-mainstream influencer, whatever it is. There is a shift, and it's actually rumbling to the surface. It is going to be unavoidable in the next 2 weeks, right? So the conversation, it's like, just look around for like rising stars, and don't think that the rising stars are, if they're paid, maybe, but you should always have like a judging eye. Like, you're not falling for anything. You're not falling for like a cult. This isn't somebody who's telling you we're going to solve the situation in a day, a week. This is not a perfect story narrator. They're just really good at putting their own thoughts together so that you're like, okay, well, I could give them some ideas as long as they can talk back, right? So the magician, this is someone who is working the like rise up, but they've been working in the background in the like, maybe there's just someone in your life who you're like, whoa, you're inspiring me to like be brave, or to go get my degree in surgical tech, or to learn about diets, so that people don't have to go and pay big pharma for like Ozempic and diseases. Maybe you're really like, what are the sharpest skills I can have? Is it being an orator? Is it being a historian, a librarian, an artist? How can I actually move, humanity forward without like all the, technocrats who want to have all your data? They want to like data mine everything. They want to make sure they know when you eat, when you sleep, when you use the restroom, so that they could use it against you, find your DNA. All of that stuff is happening. But this person is a firebrand, the magician. They're coming in and it just looks like art when they like put words and actions. Okay, you're gonna start seeing the person's right now like waiting, and they're no longer going to just tell you what's happening before your eyes and elucidating the situation, like making everything clear. They're about to start working. Their magic was their words. It's about to start divining, right? Thoughts become things. So they're realizing, okay, if I keep guessing wars and I keep guessing this is gonna happen, that's too negative. So they're using optimism for once, and they're like, you know what, the people are behind me. Maybe there is a new way that both sides of like the aisle, the parties, have not thought of. And this is very interesting because the Knight of Coins, they might be young, they might be new to this, in the sense of like maybe official politics, maybe they were cast aside, but somebody's about to rise. Okay, Knight of Coins, this could also be you. You're about to really grow into your power, and you're like, okay, I can't lose my freedom of speech, my freedom of association. My thoughts are important to me. I don't want, thought crimes, 1984. Look up George Orwellian type mindsets. You don't want to fall for, very swampy activities. And you're look at this person has been working and sharpening. This person's a wordsmith. That's really what it is. This person's a wordsmith, but they're also really intellectual. Maybe they were on debate teams. Maybe you're about to join a debate team, or maybe you're like, you know what, I want to be able to get and convey my message in a better, more strategic, more aligned way. Maybe you're starting to listen to, maybe oral hearings at like legal ones, right? Maybe you're listening to how do the best speakers of the world do. They have speech writers sometimes, but some people off the dome have great monologues, right? This is the Five of Swords. Like, this is somebody who is sharpening themselves. This is you. This is like people in the world. So for example, this could be internationally, people are taking their power back. And that could be, especially right now, it's like there's going to be another opening, and people are going to find out like the Persian empire basically is still here today in a way, and people are now beginning to see like the big picture of empires like maybe China and the Persian Empire, which is now Iran. They're now looking and being like, you know what, some of these countries and cultures are like thousands and thousands of years, and then they realize, wow, ice cream came from Iran. So did refrigerators. Look up yakhchal. So did ice cream. So did just besides Persian rugs, obviously, so many other things, like the sport of polo, right? Like the polo sport, which you in the US see as maybe it's a little more preppy or something. It's actually from Iran, and that's where it came from. So people are looking back and they're like, whoa, or like the cypress, the paisley, also Persian. These are patterns that were based on the cypress tree. It's called botejege, BOTEHJEGEH or something. So look that up. People are really finding out like, whoa, these are hidden secrets. There's a reason they were forcing you to learn about like the ancient Egyptians, but made you forget about the ancient Persians and only taught you about the Greeks and the Romans and all the other ones. And so now everybody's just kind of like, whoa, is everything we were taught in the US kind of different, wrong? What were the gaps? What were the missing pieces? Because we need to know origin before we give credit where it's in. Well, the main reason is this is why we got the 7 of coins. The people who had the money and won the wars or XYZ and where we are today, they actually, burned the literature or hid some things. But the thing is, the culture moved forward. The hidden things are becoming illuminated. Like, people are just not falling for the okie doke anymore. And that's just going to be shown. People do not want wars. They're realizing, wow, like, did you even know all of irrigation was made in ancient Persia? Like, so was the Avicenna. So Ibn Sina, Avici, could be Sina. There's like two different ways to spell it. Ibn Sina is like IBN SENA. And then there's just Avicenna, AVICENNA. Look that up. That was a Persian person who basically was the father of science and what doctors are. And so people are like, oh, so it wasn't like what we have today, where if you're in the US, you find out there's like organ harvesters. Look up the Kentucky family. There was a guy who literally put, organ donor, and then they found out in the US just now that it's been years and years of people just like the doctors not knowing things, not caring, or not double checking before they almost have surgery on someone, right? Like, just look that up. People are really like double checking stuff. Like, for example, science has been debunked, like not just science together, the art of, hypothesizing, if this, then, and then you debunk it as times go or go back. That has been taken over by people who just want money, right? So like all the government grants, all the things. And one of the biggest examples was, I think there was a guy who came from another country and then went to like California, and he got like up to $1 billion in research in, I believe it was Alzheimer's, and that was the basis of all the NIH articles, the +1 articles, the whatever research industry. They found out the person had lied about the dot plots, put the wrong information, and for the last 20 years or 10, 15 years, this person got all the money, and what they were doing was sitting there smug, thinking like, oh, no one's gonna catch me, but the whole basis of the science was wrong, so that's why there's no cure yet. That's why maybe there's just like not as much breakthrough despite how much money is thrown at this. So there are so many, like, there's so much rot at the core that people are kind of like looking into, you know what, let's go to the OG science. Let's go to like actually following your gut. And 9 of Cups, improvements underway, feeling smug or pleased. It's going to shift from the people who are trying to hide it and be like, I'm so better than thou, I do XYZ, and then it's going to be shifted over to the more ancestral, or people who are like, yo, we're not new to this, we're true to this. You guys are just like, having, what is it, school farms, where they just basically print out documents so they can literally look like they have, degrees or get the money. But it's really just not the like love of the skill, love of the game wasn't really working. So maybe that inspires you to go back to school and be like, you know what? I do think there's a cure for something like this. And I have looked up the Avicenna and I have Ibn Sina, and I know like the history, and I know there's so many different ways of traditional medicine or non. And with pharma and modern day technology, I can bring it all together. People are sick of the people who are like one or the other, the extremes. And so they turn it down, right? So they're like, nah, give me a little bit of both. Give me a little bit of modern day science and a little bit of like, actual, traditional, or like, let me find the root of this and who's actually on this, who's paying them for that research, what are their backgrounds, like what countries, what are they from, what's their religion, what do they look like, are they really passionate about this, or did someone tell them to go to school for this? And so you're realizing, nah, I'm gonna actually have informed consent in terms of a lot of things in my life. So Four of Cups, whether it's your information, whether it's your dating life, you're not falling for the okie doke. Like, your third eye is open. It is what it is. Four of Cups, money fluctuations, being offered something you may not want. Exactly. Let's also see what this is, universe. What else does the collective need to know? Wow. Freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom to associate, freedom to learn. You're tap back into your rights, or your like freedom. Look at this. I say this. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. And do, okay? You're really like, okay, real power is me following my gut, despite the world being in shambles, or, war, XYZ, taxpayer dollars going to the wrong things. What can I do? What do I have power over in my own dominion? Whether that's like you being able to take in content that's optimistic or honest or raw, or maybe like looking up more artistic, or picking up I don't know, like the cheapest instrument you could find if you don't have that much money, and then learning an art that really like fires up your brain, your neural network, so that with all the AI people are using, they're actually getting slower, dumber, lazier, and it's not like that's what the research says, but you have to double check who did the research and whatever. But that builds self-esteem when you have a talent that you don't have to Google, that you don't have to look up, that you can look up, but you got a basic basis for, okay? So self-esteem, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. You might be an artist, a writer, a poet, just someone who loves like to go bird watching, whatever it is. That is something of value to yourself first, to your your soul next, and also other people will benefit, because that's like a great way to barter, right? Like, even if the power goes out, even if something happens, you're like, well, I got something to share. I have a voice. I have I've been working on this skill. I've been, I bring joy into the world. When people see me, I bring intelligence into the world. I bring oration skills. Maybe you went and practiced how to speak. That is that. Look at that. We need to be self-sufficient and self-confident. What did I tell you? They don't want you, the powers that be, to be intelligent, independently well researched, read, that you could read real books, but you also look up 10Ks and who's on the board of directors of what farms and what foods and what pharma, and like, they don't want you to be that intelligent, because they want to like just give it to you and you're not pushing back, because it might slow down their money making, right? But if you're more self-sufficient and self-confident, you will advocate for yourself when it comes to, when you're at the doctor's, or if you're at the store, or if you're advocating for a client, if you're an attorney, whatever it is, you are like, oh, I got this. Like, that confidence will get you to your next day. And then before that, your next step becomes your next one, and you definitely elevate in life. So I love that for you. Let's also get your tea leaf message. Let's see, what signs should you look out for, and you're going to have a fun time doing this. So definitely great REM sleep. You're going to feel more energized coming up. This says valerian mix with lavender and verbena. So this is genuinely like, you should write down your dream journal. Like, you should make sure you get, your good hours of sleep so you feel energized. But this is going to motivate you. Obviously, don't drink that if you're allergic. But, with the purples, the like hues of royalty, you're beginning to realize, oh, there's something bigger inside me. And the universe is about to show you in the next month or so, like, it's going to be so unavoidable and so hard to resist, that you're going to be like drawn in to a great new beginning of your life, and it's going to benefit you and the world in a great way. So until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.